Creativity is, everybody has their own pet definition. My definition is creativity is being able to come up with a fresh idea when you need one, basically. And that means putting your mind in the right state to let that happen. The core idea behind Hare, Brain, Tortoise, Mind was there's an expanding idea of what it means to be intelligent. The narrow idea is all built around what I call cleverness, which is the ability to argue, to marshal facts, to interpret a spreadsheet. It's all done through reason, it's all done consciously. But what we now know through research is that whilst that remains an extremely useful aspect of intelligence, there's an awful lot more that we need to acknowledge or pay attention to that's going on the margins of the mind in areas which are much more hazy or poetic or uncontrolled than that kind of thinking. And if we neglect what I call the tortoise mind, we do so to our own, to the detriment of our own intelligence. Perhaps one of the most basics, a wise friend of mine once said to me that early on in his career, he discovered a very simple truth, which is whenever there's a decision that needs to be made, the first thing you ask yourself is, when does this decision need to be made? And you don't make it until then. It might need to be made in the next 2 minutes, or by 5 o'clock that afternoon, or by next Monday morning, but it might not need to be made for a month. And if you decide prematurely, if you somehow assume that fast decisiveness is the hallmark of intelligence, it's actually the reverse of that. It's a hallmark of stupidity because it stops you giving yourself the time to collect more information, to listen to more hunches, to allow more creative ideas to bubble up into your mind. If you deprive yourself of that, that's not being smart, that's merely being macho, I suppose. There's a lot of people would make a distinction between big C creativity, which is Mozart and Einstein and Steve Jobs, and small c creativity, which is the kind of thing that happens to all of us in the shower or when we're driving to work, when a kind of, fresh idea pops into our minds and we think, oh, that's useful. Or you've been trying to figure something out and the answer's not been coming to you. And then after you've been relaxing or in the middle of a bath or something or other, something pops into your head as if it were out of the blue. And I think that form of creativity is extremely useful, extremely everyday, useful to any business person, any mother, any school teacher, any school student. And it's something we can cultivate. But if we're too much locked in to the rapid and the rational way of thinking, then we kind of lose that aspect of creativity, again, to our detriment, I think.